About a week ago, me and one of my friends were just talking. We were spitballing some different ideas for shows, movies, just different stuff. And we started talking about horror movies. I'm more into them than he is, but I kind of got this idea of a little bit of a more, I don't want to call it a psychological thriller, but just something with a lot of lore to it that could be easily explained in like an opening scene, and then from there you get into the main story. So the background of this film, or I guess the opening couple of acts would be, you have this, I'd say, construction worker, guy that, like, the people that have more than one job, and he's going around with his little truck, and he's got different cans of paint because he goes around painting houses as well. And either because his coffee splashes on him, or maybe something relating to like an error of the people that are working there, he goes and falls into this cement underground, right? Just like falls in there, and then they're like still pouring the stuff, and by the time he gets out, he's just trapped under there and seemingly passes away. And about a couple of years later, could even be 10 years later, 20 years later, there's a series of homicides all in the same city. Like, each one of them is distinct from each other, right? Somebody's been cut up, someone's been, whatever, jumped out a window and make it look like they killed themselves. But there's all these different murders, and they can't really piece together, like, what's the motive here? And what's even crazier is that there never appears to be any sense of, like the person breaking in or anything that shows there was someone trying to like force entry into the home or the homes that these homicides took place at. And all of a sudden, you've got this detective, because I don't want to do another final girl. Like, you can have a final girl in this, but in terms of like a main protagonist, but you have this detective who, he's really trying to think, like, what do these people have in common, right? You have an elderly person, a younger person, just what is the connective tissue here? And he starts to kind of conclude, well, wait a second, this person was the granddaughter, this person was the brother of different employees that all worked for the same company. And as he starts to, again, piece the stuff together, he realizes, okay, so all these people are connected by virtue of being some relative of a person that was on the board of this company, which was so negligent in terms of its working conditions that this guy lost his life. Right, but he still is like, but that person died. There's no way they could be seeking revenge. And after figuring out, yeah, this is the same guy, somehow, back from being deceased, they still can't understand, like, how is he getting in these homes? How is he, terrorizing all these different people? And of course, we as the viewer are going to find this out. So earlier I said that he has these buckets of paint, and he would have this mask where if he paints the mask the same color as the inside of the person's home, it could be the walls, it could be the floor, he can press his face against a similarly colored area and enter through that way. So like, if his mask matches the color of the inside of the person's home, he can go to another area or some place else where like there's a surface of that same color. Like, let's say the inside of your house is green and he paints his mask green. He can splash some green paint on the ground and then go through that portion of the ground and come out into your home. So basically, the only way, because I don't envision him as having any like real, supernatural strength. And that's why he operates, in terms of like functioning as someone who goes after people one by one. The only way to stop him is to get rid of the mask, which is something that's achievable if it's like 2 or 3 or 4 people all just going at him at the same time. But his main superpower, I should say, is the mask. The mask lets him basically get anywhere he wants to go as long as he knows what the inside of the facility he's trying to get into, whether that's, again, a school, a house, the damn post office. As long as he knows what that inside looks like, he can paint his mask to allow him inside of the place. And like I said, I'm not trying to make some invincible villain. I don't want to like turn him into, Michael or Jason, but I do want to kind of have some intrigue and just, damn, this is scary. Like if I'm laying here sleeping and he knows the inside of my house is blue, makes his mask blue. He can enter the home through the mask being the same color. That I like that. It's I don't know. To me, it feels creative, and I'm not. I think he's like got a unique power that makes it kind of difficult, when people are like unsuspecting, but it's not so overpowered to where he couldn't be defeated if like someone knows what he is and then like knows how to prep against. Like after all, if you change the color of the room to something else and he can't see in there, then he can't get in there because he doesn't know what the color is. And that's again part of like setting those limitations. But it was just a fun little idea I had of some villain who, it's like they're out for revenge. And you could say, like, as a viewer, oh, well, we know why he's going after these people. It's like, yeah, but they don't know. And also, it could be the slightest relation. I am the sixth cousin removed of the guy that was on that board for that job where you got killed driving your truck in the, cement that they had just, like, out with no kind of barrier whatsoever to keep people from falling in. Please don't hurt me. That's what I like so much about it. Just a unique power. A nice little bit of lore that you could probably do that whole sequence in like 5 minutes and then just get into the thick of the plot, picking up years later. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Halloween, a little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street in terms of like, this person entering without entering, right? But I think it's like if this were done, it could be pretty scary. Just, we always think when we lock our doors or whether that's at home or a car, you're safe or you're not, you're more protected. But the thing that betrays you is if he can see in there, see what color it is, and then he can enter. And I don't know. I can't think of any other film or just different stuff I've watched where that was power. I've seen stuff where they can, make like shift items to like be keys and, do all types of like morphing of stuff, but not where, this matches this, so I can merge with it and then bypass, any kind of lock or barrier that you would impose to prevent me from getting in. But yeah, that was my idea.